Good morning, students. Today you are going to discuss about the second part of the human skeleton system. The human skeleton system, it is divided into two parts. The first part of the human skeleton, it is known as a axial skeleton. The second part of the human skeleton, it is known as a appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton, it consists of 80 bones. The appendicular skeleton, it is consists of 126 bones. The human body, the total consists of 206 bones. Today, you are going to discuss about, you are going to learn something about appendicular skeleton. What is appendicular skeleton? Appendicular skeleton. Do you know? Appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. Today, we are going to discussing about appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton means appendages. Appendages. Appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. Today we are going to discuss about the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton, it is means appendicular skeleton means forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs and hind limbs. See here, forelimbs, forelimbs, forelimbs and hind limbs, hind limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs, forelimbs. How many forelimbs? Two forelimbs. How many forelimbs? Two forelimbs. How many hind limbs? Two hind limbs. These two forelimbs means each forelimb is consist of how many bones? 60 bones. Each forelimb. This forelimb is consist of 30 bones. This forelimb is consist of 30 bones. Total 60 bones. Hind limb. This hind limb is consist of 30 bones. This hind limb is consist of 30 bones. Total hind, it is a hind limb is consist of 30 into 2 equal to 60 bones. How many bones? 60 bones are present in the hind limb. Next one, the second part of this appendicular skeleton, that is known as a pectoral girdle. Pectoral girdles. Pectoral girdles. It is nothing but shoulder bones. Shoulder bones. Shoulder bones. Pectoral girdles. First one, pectoral girdles. Second one, pelvic girdles. Pelvic. What second one? Pelvic girdles. Pelvic girdles. Pelvic girdles. Pelvic girdles means hip bones. Hip bones. How many bones are present in hip bones? Two hip bones. This pectoral girdles. Here two. Here two. The total pectoral girdles 4 bones. How many bones? 6. How many bones? 6. Here 120 bones. 120 plus appendicular skeleton consists of 126 bones. 126 bones. 126 bones are present in the forelimbs and pectoral girdles and pelvic girdles. This is nothing but shoulder bones. It is nothing but pelvic girdles. This pelvic girdles. Coming to the first one, it is known as a forelimbs. What is the first one? Forelimbs. First one, forelimbs. Forelimbs. The forelimbs. Each forelimb is consist of. Each forelimb, it is consist of how many bones? 30 bones. Plus and also pectoral girdle, that is in shoulder bones, it is consist of the total bones 4. Each forelimb is consist of 2 pectoral girdles. It is consist of 2 pectoral girdles. Total 4. The total bones present here. The forelimbs, each forelimb is consist of 30 bones. Each forelimb consists of. Each forelimb is consist of 30 bones. Each forelimb is consist of 30 bones. Each forelimb, it is consist of 30 bones. If you observe the each forelimb, 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 the first part of this one, it is known as it is shoulder bones. The first shoulder bone, it is known as the pectoral girdles. What is this one? Pectoral girdles. The pectoral girdles, it is consist of three main parts. The pectoral girdles, it is consist of nothing but the pectoral girdles. It is consist of body. The pectoral girdle, it is consist of body. The next part of the pectoral girdles, the next part of the pectoral girdles, it is nothing but spine. The next part of the pectoral girdle, spine. This spine arises to the outer surface, outside of the pectoral girdle, outside of the pectoral girdle. It is nothing but acromion process. This acromion, it is consist of, it is a third part of the pectoral girdle. This acromion, it is consist of F bone. That is nothing but F bone. It is nothing but clavicle bone. What is a bone? Clavicle bone. This clavicle bone means collarbone. Clavicle bone means collarbone. This collarbone, the ventral side of this collarbone, collarbone or clavicle bone attached to this ventral side of the collarbone. This ventral surface of the collarbone attached to the ventral surface of the collarbone. It is attached to the ventral surface of the collarbone, attached to the sternum. Okay, if you observe the first pectoral girdle, what is the name? Pectoral girdle. This pectoral girdle, what is the name? Pectoral girdle. The pectoral girdle here. The pectoral girdle consists of the first one. It is nothing but sacrum bone. What is the bone? Sacrum bone. The sacrum bone. The pectoral girdle, it is consist of two bones. The pectoral girdle consists of two bones. The pectoral girdle consists of pectoral girdle. The pectoral girdle consists of two bones. The first bone of the pectoral girdle, it is nothing but sacrum. What is the bone? Sacrum. The sacrum, it is a triangular shaped bone. Triangular shaped bone. And also it is a blade. It is a flat bone. It is nothing but flat bone. It is a triangular shape and a flat bone. It is this sacrum. It is consist of how many parts? Body, spine, acromion. What is it? Body, spine, acromion. The sacrum. This sacrum, it is nothing but sacrum, consists of body. The second part is known as a spine. The third part is known as a acromion. Three parts are present in the sacrum. What is the sacrum? Body, spine, and also acromion. These spines, originated, exit into the outside the shoulder bone. That is nothing but sacrum bone. It is nothing but acromion. What is the third part of the shoulder bone? That is the acromion. The second bone of the pectoral girdle. That is nothing but clavicle bone. What is the bone? Clavicle bone. The clavicle bone means that is nothing but collarbone. What is the bone? Collarbone. How many pectoral girdles are present in the each forelimb? Two pectoral girdle here, two pectoral girdle here. The total pectoral girdle is 4. The total pectoral girdle is 4. If you observe the forelimb, see here, if you observe the forelimb, 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 if you observe this forelimb, if you observe the forelimb, the pectoral girdle, see here, the pectoral girdle, the pectoral girdle, the pectoral girdles, the pectoral girdles, the pectoral girdles, it is consist of the small, it create the small cavity, the pectoral girdle consists of this cavity, the pectoral girdle consists of cavity, it is known as a glenoid cavity. What is the cavity? Glenoid cavity. The glenoid cavity means, it is very important, it is very important. Glenoid cavity means, see here, it is the sacrum, it is considered the small cavity. What is it? Small cavity. This cavity, what is the issue for this cavity? It is a humerus, the humerus bone, the humerus head, the humerus head attached to the humerus head attached to the femurus. It is nothing but humerus, humerus. It is the first bone of the forelimb, Each forelimb is consist of one humerus here. It is the humerus part, This humerus part here, it is a head part or ball part. This ball part attached to the this shoulder bone, that is the sacrum. This cavity, it is nothing but glenoid cavity. It is nothing but glenoid cavity. Glenoid cavity means the humerus, it is joined with sacrum. Humerus joined with sacrum. Humerus joined with sacrum. It is known as humerus joined with sacrum. This cavity is known as a glenoid cavity. Cavity means the joining of the humerus and sacrum. It is known as a glenoid cavity. It is the first part of the forelimb. The next one, after the forelimb, it is consist of the radius and ulna. It is consist of radius and ulna. What is the second bones of the forelimb? The first one, it is known as a radius. What is known? Radius. The next one, it is known as the third part, ulna. The third part, it is known as ulna. The second part, it is known as the radius one. The third one is known as ulna. It is known as ulna. Okay. The next one, it is known as carpals. Carpals. How many carpals are present? It is consists of 8 carpals. How many carpals? 8 carpals. How many bones? 8 carpals. These carpals are nothing but wrist bones. Wrist bones. Carpals means it is wrist bones. Here radius, ulna. Next one, carpals. Carpals, how many carpals? 8 carpals. After the carpals, palm bones. Palm bones means it is nothing but palm bones. Palm bones. Is how many bones? It is 5 bones. Carpals, metacarpals. Metacarpals. How many metacarpals are present? How many metacarpals? 5 metacarpals. 5 metacarpals here. One metacarpal, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. 5 metacarpals. After the metacarpals, phalanges. What is known? Phalanges. The next one, it is known as phalanges. The phalanges bones present. It is a thumb. Thumb is consist of 2 digits. This thumb is consist of 2 digits. The thumb is next one. After the thumb, index finger. After the index finger, that is the middle finger. Next one is a ring finger. It is the ring finger. Next one, it is nothing but little finger. The little finger. It is nothing but. These are the bones, something but phalanges. Phalanges. How many phalanges are present? The phalanges are present in the 14 phalanges. How many phalanges? 14 phalanges. How many bones are present in the? How many bones are present in the forelimb? See here, the forelimb. Each forelimb consists of the 30 bones. Each forelimb consists of how many bones? 30 bones. How many bones? 30 bones. How many bones? First one, humerus. How many? Humerus. One. Next one, radius. One. Ulna. How many bones? One. Next one, carpals. How many carpals? 8 carpals are wrist bones. Is nothing but wrist bones. Carpals. Next one, metacarpals. The metacarpals. Metacarpals. How many metacarpals? 5. Next one, phalanges. Phalanges. How many phalanges? 14. Okay, 22, 27. Total bones, 30 bones. How many bones? 30 bones. See here, humerus, 1. Next one, radius. And third one. Next one, carpals, wrist bones. Next one, metacarpals. Carpals 8, metacarpals 5. Next one, phalanges, 14 bones. Phalanges, 14 bones. It is nothing but pectoral girdle. What is the pectoral girdle? The pectoral girdle. It is nothing but spine. It is the third part of this next one. Acromion. What is the acromion? Acromion process. It is the third part. It is the second part. It is a third part of the pectoral girdle. This is a pectoral girdle consists of. It is a flat bones or you can blade. It is like a small blade. It looks like a small blade. It is a small blade. It is a shoulder bone. It is a shoulder bone scapula. It is a shoulder bone. How many bones are present in the forelimbs? How many bones? 30 bones are present in the forelimbs. 30 bones here. Humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals. Next one, phalanges. Phalanges 14, metacarpals 5. Okay, wrist bones are carpals 8 bones. Next one, radius. It is a radius 1. It is a ulna 1. Each one, humerus first one 1, 2, 3, 4, and also how many bones here? Radius only 1. It is a ulna. How many bones? 1 bones. How many bones here? 5. Carpals 8, phalanges 14 bones. Total bones, each forelimb consists of 30 bones. The total both forelimbs are consist of 60 bones. The 60 bones. Coming to the hind limb. After the forelimb. The next one, it is known as a hind limb. What is it? Hind limb. What is the next part? Hind limb. Each hind limb. What is it? Hind limb. Hind limbs. Both hind limbs consist of 60 bones. 60 bones. Each hind limb consists of 30 bones. Each hind limb is consist of 30 bones. The first bone, it is nothing but the first bone of the each hind limb. What is the first bone? It is nothing but femur. What is the first one? Femur. What is the femur. Oh, no. One. It is the femur is one. The second bone after the femur. What is known as femur? Next one it is known as the patella. What is known as patella? It is nothing but knee bone. Knee bone. It is nothing but sesamoid bone. Sesamoid bone. Sesamoid bone. One. Next one. Fibula, tibula. Fibula, tibula. Fibula. One. Next one. Tibula. Tibula. One. Tibula. One. Next part. The next one. Forelimbs means carpals. Here. Tarsals. Tarsals. Okay. Tarsals. Tarsals. How many tarsals? 7. Next one. Metatarsals. Metatarsals. How many metatarsals? 5. Next one. The next part of the each hind limb. Phalanges. Phalanges. How many phalanges? 14. Total 30. See here 19. 19 plus 7, 20. And 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Each hind limb is consist of 30 bones. Each hind limb is consist of 30 bones. Before going to the 30 bones, first one, hip bones are pelvic girdles. What is known as pelvic girdles? First one, hip bones. It is 2 hip bones, pelvic girdles. If you observe the pelvic girdles, 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 first one, pelvic girdles. If you observe the pelvic girdles, if you observe the pelvic girdles, what is known? Pelvic girdles are hip bones. Pelvic girdles are hip bones. Sacrum, it is known as a coccyx. See here, if you observe the pelvic girdles, how many pelvic? It is the pelvic girdles, sir. Pelvic hip bones. How many bones? One is present in the right side, one is present in the left side. How many hip bones are pelvic girdles, sir? 2. Each pelvic girdle, see, both the pelvic girdles are joined with, the pelvic girdles are joined with the pubic symphysis. Pubic symphysis. Symphysis. Pubic symphysis. This pubic symphysis, it is a cartilage, it is the hardest cartilage joined with the 2 pelvic girdles. 2 pelvic girdles are hip bones. 2 pelvic girdles are, is nothing but hip bones. Hip bones. Hip bones. This hip bones, the hip bones are joined with the help of pubic symphysis. This pubic symphysis, if you observe the pelvic girdles in the female, these pelvic girdles are wider. These pelvic girdles are wider in female. Wider in female. Wider means large in, because this pubic symphysis, these pelvic girdles are helpful for the, it is a childbirth. At the time of the childbirth, this pelvic girdle sizes are increases. They are helpful for the, it is a childbirth or pacturation period. It is involved for the pacturation. Wider in female. Okay, narrow narrow in male. Narrow in male. For example, the human skeleton, it is placed in any museum. How can you identify whether it is a male human skeleton or female human skeleton? Only one difference between the male human skeleton and female human skeleton. The female human skeleton, these pelvic girdles are wider, large. In the male means it is narrow. You can easily identify whether it is a male human skeleton or female human skeleton. You can easily identify male human skeleton or female human skeleton. Okay, coming to the next one. This each pelvic girdle. Now coming to the next one. Listen carefully. The each pelvic girdle, it is nothing but pelvic girdles. It is nothing but pelvic girdles. It is nothing but pelvic girdles. It's nothing but pelvic girdles are hip bones. Each hip bones, it is consists of how many parts? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Each pelvic girdle consists of how many bones? It is how many regions? How many parts? 3 parts. The first part of the pelvic girdle is nothing but ischium. What is the first part? Ischium. The first part of the pelvic girdle, it is nothing but ischium. The first part of the pelvic girdle is known as ISCHIUM, ischium. The second part of the pelvic girdle, it is known as ileum. The third part of the pelvic girdle, it is nothing but pubic. It is nothing but pubic symphysis. It is nothing but pubic symphysis. This pubic symphysis, it is a pubic part. How many parts are present? Ischium, ileum, pubic part. Pubic part. If you observe the pelvic girdles, the small cavity, what is known? The small cavity present here. The small cavity, it is located. The small cavity. This cavity, see here, the cavity, it is nothing but acetabulum. What is known? Acetabulum. What is the cavity? Acetabulum cavity. What is known? Acetabulum cavity. What is the function of this cavity? It is the femur. See here, the femur attached to the acetabulum cavity of the pelvic girdles. See here, it is there. The femur attached to 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 the pelvic girdle. It is called acetabulum cavity. Acetabulum cavity means femur. It is a femur join. The femur join. Okay, the femur join with the femur join with the femur join with. It is the femur join with the femur join with pelvic girdles. The femur join with this pelvic girdle with the help of the acetabulum cavity. The femur join with the acetabulum cavity. The acetabulum cavity means femur join with this cavity. It is known as a acetabulum cavity. See here, it is nothing but acetabulum cavity. This cavity, it is a join with the help of the cartilage. The femur join with femur. The femur means it is the longest bone. What is the name? Femur. What is part number? Femur. What is the part? Femur. The femur join with acetabulum cavity. This cavity is nothing but acetabulum cavity. The femur head, the femur ball join with the hip bones or pelvic girdles with the help of what is the cavity? Acetabulum cavity. What is the first part of the hind limb? Each hind limb, it is consist of what is the first bone? Femur bone. What is the first bone? Femur bone. Femur bone means longest bone. longest bone, largest bone, strongest bone, longest bone, largest bone, strongest bone, strongest bone in our body. What is it? Largest, longest, strongest. It is the largest, longest, strongest bone in our body. It is known as the femur bone. What is it? Femur bone. It is the longest, largest bone. It is how many bones? Each one consists of one femur. The next femur, it is attached to the femur. It is attached to the next part after the femur. Patella. It is nothing but kneecap. What is it? Kneecap. Patella bones. The first one, femur. The first one, it is nothing but femur. The first one, femur. Okay. Next one, patella. Next one, fibula. What is the next one? Fibula. The next part, it is nothing but fibula. The next part, it is known as a tibula. What is the next part? Tibula. Next part, it is known as a tibula. Okay. Next one, fibula, tibula. This one is nothing but fibula. The next one, tibula. The next part, tibula. Next part, tibula. What is the name? Second part, patella. Next part, fibula. The next part, tibula. Next one, tarsals. How many tarsals? Only 7 tarsals. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tarsals. 7 tarsals are present. How many tarsals? 7 tarsals. Next one, metatarsals. What is the name? Metatarsals. How many metatarsals? 5 metatarsals. 5 metatarsals. 5 metatarsals. How many metatarsals? 5 metatarsals. Next one, phalanges. 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 How many phalanges? The phalanges are indicated 14 phalanges. 14 phalanges. 14 phalanges. 14 phalanges. 14 phalanges. How many phalanges are present? How many phalanges are present? 14 phalanges. How many phalanges are present? How many phalanges are present? 14 phalanges. Okay, 14 phalanges. Okay, 14 phalanges. It is nothing but thumb finger. It is nothing but thumb finger. Next one, index finger. Next one, index fingers. The next fingers, it is a feet only. Okay, thumb fingers, index fingers. Next one, middle fingers, ring fingers. The next fingers, it is nothing but little fingers. Little fingers. It is phalanges. How many phalanges? 14 phalanges. 14 phalanges. If you observe the digital formula of the digital formula of the phalanges. The digital formula of the phalanges. It is a 5 phalanges. How many phalanges? How many digits are phalanges? Okay. For example, forelimbs. Forelimbs. You know, forelimbs. Forelimbs. First one, it is nothing but thumb. Thumb digits. How many digits are consist of thumb? The thumb is, it is consist of, thumb is consist of 2 digits. 2 digits. 2 digits. Next one is a thumb. Next one is a index finger. Next one, middle finger. Next one, ring finger. Next one, ring finger. Next one, little finger. How many digits here? It is a index finger. 1, 2, 3. Next one, middle finger. 1, 2, 3. Next one, ring finger. 3 digits. Little finger. 3 digits. The total 40. It is the forelimb. Same formula for the forelimbs as well as hind limbs. As well as hind limbs. It is the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. This appendicular skeleton, it is the forelimbs, hind limbs and pelvic girdles and hip bones. The total bones, 126 bones. 126 bones. Thank you very much. If you observe this one, see here, it is the scapula bones. Scapula bones. It is a scapula. It is the back side. The scapula bones means back side. Scapula. It is the shoulder bones. Next one. See here. This one. Clavicle bone. What is the name? Clavicle bone. The next part here. It is a glenoid cavity. Glenoid cavity attached to the here. This one is attached to the humerus, attached to the glenoid cavity. Humerus attached to the glenoid cavity. Next one, hip bones. See here, hip bones are pelvic girdles. Only two. Bones are pelvic girdle, two. Next one, this one is femur. Femur. The femur attached to the cavity is known as a acetabulum. Cavity is known as a acetabulum. Next one consists of patella. Next one, fibula, tibula. It is a fibula. It is a fibula. Fibula. Next one, tibula. The next one, it is nothing but tarsals. Next one, metatarsals. Next one, phalanges. Next one, phalanges. Next one, phalanges. These all parts. Thank you very much.